Hey, are you struggling to get your awesome lead magnet in front of new eyeballs so you can get more leads and more sales? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that using Reels on this video. So, the single best way right now, today, at this moment, to get your lead magnet in front of the most people who are likely to become clients or likely to become customers of some sort is using Instagram Reels. Hands down, that's the way it is. Now, a lot of it does depend on what your niche is and where where your clients typically come from and that kind of thing. However, as a general rule, this is the best place. So what I want to show you on this video is exactly what kind of reel you need and then how to take it and promote it using Facebook ads. Now, do you have to use Facebook ads? No. Actually, I'm suggesting that you do this both organically and with ads, both. And I'm also not suggesting that you run, thousands of dollars a day on this. I'm just talking about a $5 a day plan. I'm actually going to show you behind the scenes on one of my own that I tested out just so I could produce this video for you. So let's just kind of get into it and show you how it works. Give me just a sec here. What we're going to talk about is, and by the way, my handwriting is horrible. I know I say that every time I use this. We're going to have an ad, and then the ad is going to take them to either a lead form or an opt-in page. So the difference between the two, if you're not familiar, is a lead form actually exists in the Facebook ad ecosystem. A lot of people don't like to use them because the quality of the leads, some people will say, are worse. But it really depends on how you use the lead form. If you're not familiar with lead forms, I'm not going to go into that on this particular video. You can just create a normal landing page. You probably already have one to get people to opt in for. And if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. The last thing that you could do is you could just tell people to comment. Hey, comment this, or message me for access to it. You can certainly do that as well. But then if you're doing it the way I suggest, they're going to go to a thank you page of sorts, right? We'll say TYP. And on that thank you page, we're not going to give them the lead magnet. We're going to tell them it's going to arrive in their inbox in about 10 minutes, okay? But we're going to tell them about something else on that thank you page. Now, that's up to you. Maybe at that point, you want to try to upsell your low ticket offer if you have one. Maybe you just want to have a video on there describing a little bit more about you and your services. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but you can do whatever you want there. It's a good time to do it because you have their attention, and while you have their attention, you want to go ahead and get them, to take the next action, which is might be booking a call, it might be buying something else, it might be joining your Facebook group, whatever it is. You just want to be able to do that, but you want to keep it this simple. All right, and then obviously once after they opt in, you want them to go to an email sequence. And listen, if I have to tell one more time about, or hear about one more time about how emails aren't effective anymore, I'm gonna pull my hair out because emails are 100% effective. I mean, people have been saying that email doesn't work as well for the last 20 plus years, and it still works. So if you're out there and you're thinking, oh, I don't know if emails still work, I don't want to email too often, you're going to have to get past that because emails absolutely work, and this is crucial. Now, I realize I think I'll do a separate video just on that because I have a ton of metrics to show you that emails work, so we'll get there. But for now, I just want to show you this basic layout. All right, let me switch over to my computer here. All right, so what I'm showing you right here is an ad that I ran and still running, actually, and it's just like you can see, I've got $5 a day here, and I've spent $74 on this particular one, and I've gotten 14 leads. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Now, the other metrics I'm looking at are, okay, I had 22 link clicks. That means I have a 64% opt-in rate. Okay, 14 divided by 22, there you go, 64%. That's pretty doggone good. Now, the challenge with me and my market is it's expensive to market to my audience. So it costs me more just to even show the ads than it does to most markets. but that's okay. And then the other thing I'm looking at is my click-through rate. It's over 2%. That's pretty doggone good considering your goal is usually 1%. And the reason I'm pointing this stuff out is not because every ad that I've ever put out there has done well, because we all know that's not true. And by the way, it's easy for people to just glorify all the ad success that they've had out there. The people that impress me, even myself, like when I'm talking to a potential client or something, is I want to know what tanked, what didn't work, and how did you fix it. Anybody can talk about their successes. That's a no-brainer. Big deal. But it's the things that you don't have success with and how you handle it and what you do to fix it that really matters. Anyway, that's a little speech for you. So with this right here, I just wanted to show you something basic and something simple, because I get tired of seeing these huge ad spends on stuff and making people think that that's the way it has to be. Now, it is true, the more money you can spend, the better off you'll be, once you get it dialed in. But if you can't, that doesn't mean you can't do $5 a day on ads, right? So on this one, like I said, I've had 14 out of 22. That's pretty doggone good. And I'm going to show you this video. I'm not going to actually play it for you. I'm not sure it'll let me, but I just want to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like, how simple it is. I'll tell you what happened. What happened was we were driving to Kentucky, myself and my younger son, Evan, and my dog, Charlie, and we stopped. And as we stopped, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make an ad. I hadn't even taken a shower. I hadn't even done anything. I mean, we were just driving to go see my parents. And so I whipped out my phone and just recorded it. And I wanted to see if that was going to be effective. Right? How polished does this need to be? And so I already knew the answer because I've run so many ads like this, but I just like to reiterate it, that it doesn't have to be fancy or complicated. And that's where people get caught up, is they see fancy ads, and fancy ads, some of them might work. It's not that they don't necessarily, but it's not that they're necessary. And especially you have to take into account your platform. So think about Reels. When people are looking at Reels, they're just scrolling through, and the best thing we can do as marketing is to make it not look like an ad. And so it doesn't exactly look like an ad. Okay. So it's just me talking, chit chatting, and the realness of it is likely why it converts the best. So, and I've tested this numerous amounts of times. All right. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is just create a reel. And then when you create the reel, you can go ahead and post it organically, but I would encourage you not to save it on your phone first before you start posting organically. Organically, you can add some trending music and you can add stickers and stuff, but when you're running it as an ad, you can't do that. So don't upload it first with that stuff to Instagram, and then you won't be able to use that as an ad. So you keep it separate, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to show you exactly how to input this, exactly how I input this, because I think that's where people fall off. They think that there's some kind of magic checkbox or magic button that makes it all work, and there's just not, right? The biggest thing is if you have the right message for the right market match, it's going to work, and you have the right offer. Okay, so my offer on this one is Lead Magnet Mastery. And so let me just kind of show you what that looks like. All right, I'm going to create this from scratch. Okay, so I have this sorted just by Reels. So I'm going to click Create. So in my case, the way I'm going to set it up is I'm going to choose leads. Now, if you're going to have people comment or message, then you're not going to set it up this way. You're going to choose engagement. But for this, we're going to choose leads. Okay, so we're going to hit that right there. Now, you can do Messenger on this one. I wouldn't do that if I was setting it up for myself or my client. If I wanted them to comment or message me, I would do it as engagement, just because it's usually a lower cost for one thing. All right, so manual leads campaign. I hardly ever am going to use a tailored leads campaign. Now, if you're doing e-com or something like that, that's different. But for this kind of stuff, I always want to do manual. And I'm going to go through this pretty doggone quick. And I'm going to assume that you have a Facebook ads account. If you don't, that'll be a different video. All right, so here we're just going to name it. I do TOF for top of funnel, right? And we're going to say LMM for Lead Magnet Mastery, and we're going to say Reels. And here, this is the way I usually set it up. I don't turn on the Advantage campaign budget. I'm going to go next. And then here, I'm just going to list out my audience, and I just name it here. So a lot of times also I do reiterate that it's a reel that I'm showing it to, like that's my placements. So I put my placements here, and then I say, lookalike, or something like that, whatever the name of it is. Now, in this case, I'm doing an instant form, which is what I was talking about with the lead forms. But again, you can just send yours to your landing page. It's certainly fine as well. But if I'm doing instant forms, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go through all this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and set my budget. So if you're doing the $5 a day, great. Normally, I usually start ads like early in the morning, 6, 7, 8 a.m. It's already past 8 a.m. here, but so I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to switch to my original audience options, use original audience. And the reason is this, and Facebook keeps changing this stuff, so I know it gets confusing, original audience, Advantage Plus audience, blah, blah, blah. So Facebook's goal is to try to have you give them more control by allowing them to show the ads to whoever they think they can convert versus you targeting more specifically. And they just want more control because they figure they can get better results. And sometimes that's true. However, if you haven't been running ads for a while, Facebook doesn't understand your account, your pixel, and those kinds of things, then you're better off selecting your targeting, like being a little more narrow with who you're going to target. Now, in this case, I actually said I was going to do a lookalike, but let's just say that I wasn't for a second. Let's just say I was going to do something else. Let's say I wanted to target, and I think this is what I targeted actually, because most of my clients and most of the people that respond to this stuff just happen to be women, usually over 35, and typically under 60. And so I'm going to target. Now, you may not want to make it that narrow, okay? But I do. So here, now let me just tell you this right now. Not everybody's account's going to look like this. You may not have a selection here for turning this on and off. I am going to turn it off. Okay, I'm going to uncheck that box right there because I want to select. I don't want them to try to reach people beyond my detailed targeting selections. So in this case, I am going to make it a little more broad. I'm just going to talk about, I'm going to do leadership. Let's see, right here, leadership development. Okay. And then I'm going to hit suggestions, professional development. That'd be okay. Training and development, career development. I'm just going to put those in. And you might ask me why I'm selecting those. Well, the reason that I'm selecting those is because I'm looking for people who tend to be educated for one thing. And when I say educated, I just mean college educated. Everybody's educated. We all have an education one way or the other. I didn't even go. I did go to college, but I flunked right out. But I'm looking typically for people who are educated because I know my client base. That's who tends to respond to me, right? Who tends to opt into things. So you got to know who your audience is. Can I target other people? Absolutely, and I do, and I will. But I'm just trying to be kind of narrow here to show you where I'm going to start. And then the other thing is this doesn't mean, the people who tend to buy from me or either become clients or buy my courses or whatever, they often come from all kinds of areas. In other words, they may be in the corporate world right now, but they're thinking about moving, to an online business or something along those lines. Well, these are the people that I want to go after. They're into career development. They're not into not career development, if that makes sense, or they're entrepreneurs, or they're coaches or whatever. So I just kind of wanted to start here. And the audience sizes, according to Facebook, if you look over here on the right, is between 11 to 14 million, if you believe what they say here. Well, some people will tell you, well, that audience is too big. Maybe, and it may be too big. However, I do like bigger audiences for the most part, and part of the reason is because that allows me to have a lower lead cost, and so I'm kind of making a trade, right? I'm having a bigger audience, a bigger pool to come from to get just a little bit lower lead cost, so I'm trying to get more numbers through. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so as I scroll down here, this is the key part. All right, this is the key part. It's about the placements. So when you come down here, go to Advantage Placements, click Edit, and go to Manual Placements. And then I'm going to uncheck this, the audience network, and I'm just going to start. And I start from the bottom up, and I do that because if you don't, you have to go back in and select all placements and do it again. Just start here. I hate even saying this, but trust me. All right, search results. I'm going to uncheck that. I'm going to uncheck this, which will uncheck all those. Now here on these right here, I'm going to leave these checked. I'm going to show it on Instagram, Facebook, Reels, and Stories both. Okay, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to start unchecking from the bottom. Technically, you should be able to just uncheck this box, but it doesn't work. So let me get that done. Okay. So that's it. And actually, my audience size increased, if you believe what they're saying there. Don't worry about it. All right. So why am I showing it on Facebook? Well, I tell you, most of the conversions that I get tend to come from Instagram, but my cost is typically lower if I give Facebook or Meta the option to show it on either Facebook or Instagram. So if my cost is a little lower and I'm still getting what I want, then that's what I'm going to do. So that's why I use them both. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit next there. And on this, I'm just going to label it real. And then I had that one that was from Kentucky. I just want to label it so I know what in the world it is. And then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to upload the reel. Now, you can select the reel that you uploaded to your Instagram account. So, and you can go in here and you just do that by changing this to use existing post and then selecting it. But I'm going to actually create the ad. So here I'm going to actually delete that, set up creative. And this is new, by the way. I don't know that everybody has this in their account. So where you go in, you say video ad, and then ask you for the text. I'm not going to put in any text unless it makes me. Okay, for reels and stuff, it usually isn't super effective. So I'm going to go in here and do this, and you can see I had some other stuff going on there. No telling what I'm there. I think this is it. And by the way, when you upload your reel, it'll also auto crop it a lot of times. But usually I just choose the one that I uploaded it as. Okay. See, I hate that. Like, I'm like, oh, I look like I didn't even have a shower. Well, I didn't even have a shower. So I'm click done. Okay, and now you can see the kind of the previews of it. Now, if you want to see more previews, you can click the advanced, and it'll show you what it's going to look like in the various reels sections. Okay, and then in stories and what that's going to, if it'll work in stories, it's going to show you that. Okay, then I save. And then again, I'm not putting any primary text, and you might wonder why. Well, first of all, the text, the way it appears like behind this part right here, and it's hard to see, and it takes people away from the opportunity to opt in. So I don't want them going down that rabbit hole. I want to explain it in the video. And by the way, I just put the simple captions on here. I didn't go crazy with that. You can do more if that's your flavor. In other words, if that's what you normally do, if you would normally have stuff popping on the screen or whatever, that's fine. Just remember no stickers, and no, copyrighted music. And then here, I'm going to change this from sign up to learn more. I have tested this and tested this and tested this. And I've heard people say, nobody wants to learn. They're not on social media to learn. And I'm like, okay, well, I think it's semantics, okay? Because if they want to know more, learn more is not going to keep them from opting in, right? Nobody's stopping opting in because it says learn more, right? That's just not happening. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you right down here is where it says the enhancements. I'm going to click edit here. And so I do not want any of the optimizations on, and there's a whole list of reasons why, but mostly it's because you will have the craziest things happen. And I can't tell you, I've seen the craziest things happen when any of these optimizations are on. Like, sometimes it'll show the file name of the video as the text, right, or as the headline. It's weird. So I'm just gonna, I turn this on and turn it off. That does it automatically for all of them. Okay, and it should say 0 enhancements. Now you can test it. You can do it any way you want. And then that's it. I'll select my form. Like if you are using a form, you won't have this. You'll input the URL. The destination right here will have the place for the URL for your landing page. But if you're using a form, then you'll select it here. And then that's it. And you can kind of see the form. This is kind of what it looks like. Okay, they have this question. Then they enter in this right here. And notice here, I use the work email. Okay, I don't let them. So it has to be applicable for your audience, right? So the people that I would be targeting there's some type of business type owner, or they're going to be, or something along those lines. So I want the work email. I don't want the regular email. And the work email is more likely to get checked, for one thing. And then the other thing beyond that is the work email will not pre-fill in here. When people click on the lead form, usually it'll pre-fill their name and email of whatever's on file with Facebook. Well, we all know that most people don't use their regular email for their Facebook login. And so I need them to make sure that that's the best email to send it to. So there we go. Then this just has them reiterate that, and then, hey, you did it, and then got questions, message me. Now this is actually needs to be better. I'm glad we're looking at this, because I actually have something else I want them to do here. I've got an upsell that I'm going to put right here. It's a low ticket offer. It's like the companion video series with Lead Magnet Mastery, and I'll just put that right there, and then they can click on that and purchase. So anyway, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. All right, so then I'll publish, and then that's it. That's all you have to do. So the next thing that's going to happen is you want to, if you're only doing a $5 a day deal, you want to monitor it over a couple of days and see what happens. So let's kind of look at the one that I was showing you before. Okay. Oh, yeah. Hey, this is good too. So this is a bunch of the other ones that I did. Okay, because I did a bunch of other ones. And you can see, if you look down here just strictly at cost per result, you can see this one, got a better cost per result than this one. Okay, but it only showed to 86 people. So there really hasn't gone to that. And so I might still continue to run that. But this is the one that I was talking about. So I just want to kind of take a look at the results. And what I'm looking for is how many people saw it, right? How many people actually opted in, right? How much did I spend? $74.61, right? What were the number of clicks? Meaning how many people clicked on it and actually went to it? Not, the total number of clicks on the ad, but only the clicks that opened up the form or went to the website, depending on whatever you're doing. And then, what's my click-through rate? Now, click-through rate's a vanity metric. People will harp on it. Click-through rate doesn't matter if everything else is working. It does matter, but it's not as important as people make it out to be if everything else is working. So I try to keep it simple. If you're getting your lead cost, at a reasonable number that's going to work for you, great. But if you're not, then change it. It's that simple. And if you don't know what to change, then look at your click-through rate. If your click-through rate's low, change your image. Or, in this case, change the video. That's all you'll do. Just reshoot it. And that's essentially it. So now you're going to have an ad going to your reels, and you just want to keep eye on it. Just let it run. Let it run for a little while. If you don't get anything in a couple of days, yeah, okay, maybe you spent $10 and didn't get anything, but you did get some data. And that's the point, is you're starting, is you're getting going, is you're making it happen by starting your reels. All right, that's it, and I'll see you later.